making your way in the world today. You really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew, ha ha. Cold Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode? All right. Thank you very much for joining us to another episode of Brew Ha Ha. We've got Sean McDonald from Cold Street Brewery.
Heyo.
Where can we find you, Sean?
1627 Cole Street. Next to the Rainier Bar and Grill.
In the Courier Herald building.
Old Courier Herald building. Yep.
And then where can we find you online?
ColeStreetBrew.com, BREW. Or on Facebook is always better because it's more consistent on our upcoming events and what's actively happening.
Excellent. And we'll talk about some upcoming events. We'll plug those again. Do you need a cup?
Wait, I mean,
I can't. Could you go ask my wife for a pretty please cup, Keri? Sorry, we've got Craig Bentley.
I am here.
The infamous Craig Bentley that we talk about.
It is an honor to be here.
Almost all of our podcasts.
We do. Now, Craig is a guy, he's paid us $500 each to be on this thing.
You got 5?
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
Hey, you're not supposed to tell him that.
Oh.
I'm the one that brought the beer.
So, I'm at 500 pennies each. Craig's a guy that we both know, mutually actually, where we kind of have our own backgrounds, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But Craig's been a long-time listener. Thank you very much, Craig, for listening to the Full Buddy Cast. You've always supported me, and I know that you've also always supported...
Always supported me. Yep.
So, yeah,
We've been friends for a long time.
And so I feel like this is almost like... Be honest. When you saw on Facebook the picture that I posted of Cole Street with the eyes, like, what's going on? Full Buddy Cast, Cole Street.
He sent me a text message like 15 minutes later.
If that.
It's like, what's going on?
I was stoked. I was excited.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised. No, absolutely. I mean, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I got a hold of Sean right away.
And then what did you say?
I just said, hey, are you guys doing something? And, obviously it probably wasn't out for everybody to know at that time. And, Sean let me know you guys were trying to work on some stuff, get some things going and
dial it in.
Get everything working. So,
yeah.
Dude, I was excited.
We're still looking to dial it in. We're still working on the old dial.
It's always a work in progress.
But Craig's joining us now. Real quick on how I know Craig, and we might have maybe Craig and I will have our own down the road, just a Full Buddy Cast catch up.
Anytime you want.
And we'll be drinking Cold Street Brew while we do it. But worked at Safeway together, went to EHS together. He was class of 99. I saw Keri, his wife. She's here too now. But yeah, I'm gonna get that bad. Hold on. But she thought I graduated with you guys. She thought, hey, you're class of 99, right? I said, hey, I was the cool underclassman that hung out. And then we had to talk about Mr. EHS and yada, yada, yada. She brought that up, not me. But I've known Craig for quite a while.
Long time.
But we really became friends, I would say, at Safeway when we were both courtesy clerks. In fact, we have a very funny, I had one of the funniest exchanges of my life with Holly Polston, Craig, and myself. One check stand, one late night. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember a lot of funny nights. There was a lot of funny nights, a lot of good nights. Anyway, I'm gonna get my beer poured. Why don't you quickly talk to us about what the beer of the week is that we're going to be enjoying?
So today I brought the Strawberry Blonde. It's a good summertime. Strawberries are in bloom, strawberries are ripe right now, so that's why I made a Strawberry Blonde. Fresh fruit. I always use fresh fruit in all my fruit beers. So it's a blonde, which is a pretty simple beer. Has a good wheat amount to it, so it's got a great fluffy head, real light. Then we add that strawberry, which brings out that nice, sweet, but not cloyingly sweet, so it's not like overly sweet. This, I also wanted to point out that I'm doing deals with Rainier next door. So on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I have kind of an abridged menu. It's all of their burgers, all of their sandwiches, all of their wraps, and a few of their appetizers.
Really?
And one of their appetizers is their prawn appetizer.
Ooh.
Their cocktail. Prawn cocktail.
Ooh.
And I'd love to point out that this strawberry blonde and prawns, strawberry blonde and any type of seafood is amazing.
Pairs well.
But with those prawns, it is amazing. It's really good. Makes you want to have more of both. More
of both. Now, speaking of, okay, I'm taking a sip too. Let's all clink. We're all clinking right now. Okay, we all clinked. Okay.
Like I said, it's got that nice, real light head.
Wow,
fluffy head.
Don't let my kids find this, because this is like one of those things where this is where they're gonna drink the first beer and go, "This is amazing."
Yeah, it doesn't really have a beer flavor to it. A lot of people are always concerned about that. Well, it's the aftertaste. There's no aftertaste. The aftertaste that's left in your mouth is a nice, crisp strawberry flavor.
It's
true fruit.
It's left in your mouth, not in your glass.
Exactly.
You can use that.
I'll make a sticker.
I've got a question for you on that one in just a second, though. But I just wanted to say, there's only one strawberry blonde with a fluffy head, and he's joining us today. His name is Craig Bentley. I'm so excited he's here.
I'm excited, but this beer is better than me.
For sure. Keri agrees. What's the ABV Alcohol Broadcasting Network?
This one's a little bit higher than the Pub Light. So this is 5.8. It goes up to, it could be 6. It's 5.8 to 6. It goes up because of the extra sugar from the strawberries, so it ferments out a little bit stronger.
A little bit more to it.
But you'd never notice, until you've had a few.
So I'm going to give you, I've got a beer rant that I'm going to serve up. I don't know if you have a beer rant yet.
Not yet, but
I
can always come up with one.
I'm going to serve one up to you.
Okay.
Maybe it might be a beer owner rant.
Okay.
The beer owner rant is this. How often are you told by somebody who comes in, hey, if you did this, hey, if you did that, hey, if you did this, if you did that, if you did this, if you did that, does it happen quite a bit?
Are you talking like beers or what I should do in my tap room?
Everything.
I get it all. Yeah.
Everything. And then how do you not sit there and I'm sure you've had a few good ideas.
Well, I think we talked about this on a different podcast where I have an awful lot of people that have come in and wanted to talk like brewing stuff and different brewery stuff, how to change my brewery. It's great. I really appreciate constructive criticism, and I always take it. That being said, I'm also very supportive if anybody wants to take the plunge and start their own brewery. I am very supportive of that.
Right.
Yeah, and when it comes to beers, so another real common thing is, especially this time of year in the summer, springtime, people are coming in and they're asking for like stouts and porters and that sort of thing. I make a great stout. I make a great porter. If I put it on tap this time of year, it's not going to get drank. It's just going to sit there. Now, granted, I brew one batch and it could last, 6 months, but a porter is an ale. And like we talked about our last episode, ales should be drank in 30 days or less. So brewing that beer, it's not going to get drank that fast. I do have quite a few that come in and ask for it. That's why right now I have the Vienna lager. I feel like that fits into that role. Right. It's a lager, so it's got a real clean finish. It's not as cloying and deep as like a porter would be. But it's dark, and it's got that real bready flavor like a brown or a porter would have. So it kind of fits into the role for those people that want to come in and ask for a dark beer. But in reality, they want to ask for it, and they'll maybe have one, but they're going to come back and get this lovely strawberry ale because it's, the time of year.
Right.
That's what you drink this time of year is light beers.
So really, you haven't, you dodged that very nicely. You dodged that supremely. But you've never been like, okay, I've heard this thing for the 10th time, and this is why I don't do it. Like, have you ever had someone say, like, you should do this, you should do that, and you've heard it maybe quite a bit, then you're like, there's a reason.
Oh, so we're talking like football?
We could talk football.
So a lot of people always come into my brewery and they're always like, especially in the wintertime, and I won't deny this, that the NFL is a huge thing, right? And they'll always come in like, well, if you had a TV in here, we could watch the Seahawks game. So there's multiple levels on why I don't do that. One, my brewery is a community brewery and it's an open space. I don't have any TVs.
Right.
At my brewery space, I do have a TV. That's just for when I do trivia nights or I do different events. It's to show as a display. It never has TV on it. I feel like every time you go into a bar that has a TV, your attention is sucked straight to that TV and you don't pay attention to anything around you. You don't pay attention to your surroundings or anything. My community brewery is for you to meet a stranger that's actually your neighbor and turn into a friend. I have so many relationships have been started in my brewery, and that's the reason why is because you have, you sit there and you have somebody to talk to. Like some random subject comes up and somebody knows something about it, starts saying it. That's the first and the main focus of why I don't do it. The other reason is the NFL is very expensive. It's always about how many eyes can see that screen. So if I'm playing it in my bar, I have a capacity of 100 people. I have to pay the NFL for those 100 people. So my capacity is the expense. So I basically pay about $300 to $400 a month just to have the NFL on there. And I'm not a sports bar. That's not my focus. So how am I going to make that money back? I'm never going to make it back.
Wait. I had no clue about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And so the other argument I get back that people don't believe me on that, they're like, well, the Mint has TVs and Jackson's have it. They're just watching, Channel 13 on it and they're just getting public. So that's fine. But the thing with it is they're a restaurant. So when you go to Jackson's and sit down and you happen to be watching the Seahawks game, do you go on Facebook and say, hey, I'm watching the Seahawks game at Jackson's? No. You're there as a restaurant. You're eating food, maybe having some drinks. You're not
going to be there for 4 to 6 hours.
You're glancing at the TV.
Right.
So you never post it. Now, versus you're coming to my brewery and it's on there, you're probably going to text your friends or you're going to post on Facebook, hey, I'm at this brewery watching the game, blah, blah, blah. That's how I would get in trouble for watching or having the public on there, public transmitted station rather than paying the one that you're supposed to have for commercial space.
Interesting.
And that's all sports bars have to pay for that, but that's why they have so many screens. They have 30 different screens.
So they got $1 billion because they're already paying a flat fee, kind of
and
already.
And then they have the UFC fights, and it all evens out because they get those crowds in, and they get a bigger that are just for that game. Versus me, I'm never gonna attract, especially it'd be competing against the Chalet. So the Chalet Theater every Sunday, they have a great turnout. They're a big space, and you're all in there cheering for the Seahawks all together. I'm never going to compete with that. Right. And I don't want to. I love Charles from the Chalet. Yeah. Great shout out.
So here's what you should do. I'm kidding. I thought the same thing. When you were saying that Chalet thing, I'm like, what would be great is if you would go, you could pre-funk on like a Sunday night football game or something like that.
Absolutely.
Go hit up Cole Street, get your brew on, say hi to your boys.
And I have my IPA is always on tap up there.
And then go, it is. Yep. And then go head over to the Chalet and watch the game. And if it's a 1:00 game, go watch the game at the Chalet. Afterwards, come on over to Cole Street Brew. It's just like a walk. Like you could throw a grenade.
Half a block. Yep.
You could throw a grenade, or a baseball. Problems. Yeah.
It sounds like if the season happens, Trav's gonna be doing that quite a bit.
I might do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm all about it. I'm all about Cole Street right now, and people are making fun of me about it on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Why? Because
they're just like, Travis, you're just all about Cole Street. I said it's good beer.
Well, yeah.
I got a buddy of mine. We're in a Madden football league together. I lost today to Craig Bentley, the biggest jerk I know. My first daughter is named Madden, and Craig beat me. Craig destroyed. And here's the thing, I'm gonna throw some shade. I'm sorry, Sean. You're a great friend. I appreciate you dearly. It's great doing episodes with you, Brouhaha.
I made you punt from the end zone.
You did make me punt from the end zone.
I sacked you how many times? 7 times?
Still beat you. And so you set the bar so low, I thought it would be super easy to roll through everyone else.
Oh, that's it. I'm stomping you. I let off on the gas when we were playing, but all right. Well, see how it is.
In all fairness, he's out now. So.
I am. Are you still in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Who are you playing?
Jared Scally.
Is there any computer teams that made it?
Well, that's the other frustrating thing. How many real guys have you played?
3.
How many real guys have you? Well, you just got in.
Well, you just got beat by a real guy.
Listen,
I've
played you, Brandon twice, and now Craig, and I played like 5 games. Or
The only
games.
people I haven't played is Craig and Corey. I haven't played the Bentley brothers, but I played everybody else. I played every human in the league, but so everybody else has played more computers than I played. But I still made the playoffs, and I have a playoff game against Skelly. Which, sorry, Skelly, but you got nothing to hide.
I mean, in all fairness, it's why I'm here.
Right.
I kind of felt bad, and I came over to check on you,
Oh,
and then realized you guys were
Suicide
doing
check.
this, so I decided to stick around. But I was just checking to make sure you were okay.
I appreciate you very much for that. Thank you.
Travis was pretty upset. He messaged me how upset he was.
I was so mad. I was mad, and I'm like, here's the thing. I was playing against Brandon Thorpe the other day, and I lost to him, and I was cussing like crazy in my living room. I take it seriously, and my wife's like, Travis, cut it out. You're cussing way too much. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So then I'm like, I thought I had a bye week. I thought the computer broke because it said I had a Z clinched, and then all of a sudden I lose to him. I'm now not Z anymore, and now I'm playing Craig. I thought, you know what? I could roll on Craig easily. And I'm thinking, no big deal. I'm not going to cuss. I'm going to have a nice, enjoyable day.
Craig is Monday Madness.
Craig
so.
is great.
Well, as you noticed, there was no trash talk from me.
And I was kind of hoping you would.
No, here's the deal, though. You can talk to anybody. I can trash talk with the best of them, right?
Right.
But I think it even made it better
That you
because
don't.
as we were playing,
It's in your head.
I mean, I was up a good amount.
Yeah.
You were getting pretty pissed.
Yeah.
Was I trash talking?
No, and you wouldn't even respond when I would say anything for the most part.
Well, I was laughing inside.
Yeah. I'm like over here like, we disconnected? Like, what's going on? And here's the thing. I almost did it. I almost pulled the internet cable. I thought about pulling the
I'm
internet.
thinking that might happen between me and Jared because I heard that happen with one of his other games.
Really?
Yeah, it started a couple times because the internet, and finally he just messaged on the message board saying, "Hey, just forward this and just say that he won."
Well, he does have a horrible connection where he lives.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
Oregon.
Yeah. Well,
That was air quotes.
no way. They have internet out there?
I guess so.
That's crazy.
On that one-lane road that goes in and out.
That's crazy. But you guys know each other. You guys know each other more than just the Madden League.
Yeah, so we originally met playing cards. Yeah, we used to play
poker.
a lot of cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of our mutual friends, Jason Tim, who works for the city.
Shout
of
out
Enumclaw.
Jason, absolutely.
Yeah, he used to have a game in his basement. His house used to be like 2 houses down from your house right now.
Really?
Yeah. About that. It's
Yeah.
still in the same block somewhere.
From where I'm living
But-
right now,
Yeah, if I was outside, I
Oh,
could
okay.
point to the house.
throw
Um,
a grenade at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great house. Yeah, we had card games there, and then Craig started a card game at his house, and yeah, so came over, and it's not that I didn't know Craig from high school and his wife Keri from high school, but before then we weren't really friends, so then we started playing cards together.
Three nights a week,
Yeah, 3 nights a week.
mostly.
Exactly.
Maybe even a little more.
Yeah, and we, there was even times where we had
Craig
had-
just looked at
we
Keri
had
like,
a ledger with who owed who what, and
Oh, we were on paper.
yep.
wow.
We had some epic nights. Like so what's his Travis
Pull him.
Pulliam.
He was there?
He still has a piece of paper in his wallet, possibly. I don't know. He moved to Arizona.
Right.
He has a piece of paper in his wallet that I owe him, I don't even know, like $700, something like that. It's one of those, it's on a piece of paper and I signed it and said, I owe you, like, and I'll make payments or whatever. And then he moved to Arizona. So,
and now he's going to show up next week.
well, that's fine. He has to still have that piece of paper.
Well, you'll know if it's
Absolutely,
a fake.
I'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how long. That was a long time ago. That was
10 years.
I mean,
8 years?
how old is Mackenzie now?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I mean,
Mackenzie was little.
We played 3 nights a week. Like
Still diapers.
most people, they don't do stuff when your kids are born. when our kids were born, we decided to invite a whole bunch of people over.
Yeah, and they slept through it, and there's very few times that those kids ever woke up. And it was only when they
Really?
were like sick.
Wow.
The rest of the time they slept right through it. That's gold right there. See, don't baby your kids. Just be loud around them so they have to sleep through your crap.
That's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
Wow. So who was the then? I mean, obviously, it sounds like Travis Pulliam was a decent winner.
It was just a night. He
wasn't a regular. He just happened to get lucky.
Then who was the one that was just cleaning house?
He was also just a real random. He'd just throw a lot of money in, and if he hit it, he hit it. If he didn't, he lost it.
So it was like a slot machine.
Well, the house itself always cleans house.
Yeah. So you were crushing?
There was a couple times where maybe made some bill payments with the winnings.
I think we all did. We all made car payments and stuff from time to time.
At some point, you'd win enough?
We'd invite friends that would invite friends, and those friends would come in. And those were the ones that sat down at the table and they didn't realize who they were sitting with. Because then when those people sat at our table, we're not taking money from each other because clearly we just trade money.
Right.
We take it from those people, and then
And see, that's what happens when you're allowed to play on credit, right? I mean, we knew everybody, right? We're not going to just randomly do that kind of stuff, but we played where you brought let's say $40-$60 a night. And if you lost more than that, you went on paper. And that made it worse, actually, because we allowed that.
Yeah, there are several payment plans.
Yeah, did you break anybody's knuckles or chop a finger off or two?
No, I think everybody...
everybody eventually paid up.
Or moved to Arizona?
Yeah.
I got to break. I got to get out of here now. Except he was the one that was owed money.
True.
Yeah. He left up. He's like, I'm leaving up.
I cannot give this back.
Yep.
What? Man, those poker... You guys still get together and play a little poker here and there?
Here and there, yeah. So we do fantasy football together. We've been doing that league. We talked about that a previous podcast. I think 15 years or 17 years.
Yeah, something like that. 15, 16 this year coming up.
It was about the same time we were playing poker that we started it. And so... One of the things is we have a poker tournament every year, and that kind of determines who. Well, the winner doesn't have to pay into the league. Basically, that money goes to paying into the league, and then it's I don't know what else was in it. Like
we have our own site, so the poker tournament kind of money goes to the site too. So we run. Corey runs the site, and
so we got a really fancy site. We have all kinds of ridiculous rules and stuff that most fantasy footballs don't have.
Yeah, this is kind of a teaser because we are going to, I think we'll have Corey on at some point. It won't be a brouhaha, but it will be just a regular fantasy football. What does your league do? Because everyone has their league and they all have their interesting league roles and their rules and we do this every year and that every year. And we can dive deep into that.
And why we do things and why we've changed things. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to skip over that. But you guys are part of a football league. You guys play poker at the football league for the draft.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Draft order.
And then draft day is like we have yard games afterwards. So half the day is drafting and the other half is playing games.
The draft is pretty much an entire day.
Yeah.
Sounds hot. I want to be there. There's probably
you can be our sticker bitch.
You could.
There's probably a waiting list
for the league. And
for sticker bitch, you just have to raise your hand and bring beer.
If you want, I can.
I don't know if you know this. I'm sponsored by Cole Street.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. I'll go on record right now. You want to be sticker bitch this year? You can come over.
What all right.
Yep.
I might be into it. Do I have to wear like a mankini?
Yep.
All right. I might not do that. So for you guys, since this is a beer, podcast, what beer stuff have you guys done together? Like, has there been any sort of do you guys go to breweries? Do you guys because I've seen you in Cole Street quite a bit, obviously.
A couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times a week.
Do you guys do anything outside of Cole Street together when it comes to brew and beers?
Yeah, I mean, I look at 6-7 years ago ish. I know Sean's been doing a little longer, but I kind of got into the whole brew scene.
I drug him in.
He did.
I was starting a brewery, so I'm like, hey, let's go. The company's paying for this, so let's go adventure.
So
really?
So basically my knowledge and what I actually like drinking now stems from 6-7 years ago, starting this with Sean. And man, we've did different brew tours, local ones. We've been to Seattle.
Yeah, we did a Georgetown brewery experience together. I have some great pictures of Craig in the hop house and in their keg room and that sort of thing. It was fun. That's a really good tour. I highly advise it. It's like on Friday nights. That guy, oh my God, that guy just blew my mind. Like he has like a whole stein, it's a full liter glass. he drains that at least 9 times.
Oh.
9 times.
And-
there's somebody that runs and gets and brings him a new stein. And he never stutters. He never stops. And on top of that, he never pees. How big is your freaking bladder?
Oh my gosh.
Huge.
It was impressive. It was impressive.
And how long was the where he was just sucking these things down?
You know, it's like an hour tour, I want to say.
Yeah,
Wow.
right around that.
Yeah.
It
And
depends on how
we
many.
get beer the whole time. It's
Yeah.
not like we weren't drinking too, but we're drinking normal glasses.
Yeah, and so how long was this tour that you guys like spend like 2 weeks together, 1 week, 3 days? Like how long was this whole thing?
Well, that one in particular was just a full day.
Yeah.
And we hit up different places in Seattle besides Georgetown.
Seattle.
Yeah, we bounced around.
Okay, I thought it was out of state. I guess I got that one.
We have did some out of state ones also.
Okay.
Yeah, we did Portland. Yeah, so we played softball together. So we went down for a softball tournament, and of course the tournament didn't go so well. So we had plenty of time to go drink some beer.
Oh, so like it was a Madden tournament, you immediately lost. So you're like, well, might as well drink the rest of the weekend.
Well, that being said, so we got down there on Friday, and I think we had one game Friday, and then we had the whole rest of the night off. So we got down at 1, we played, and then we had 6 hours there. So we hit quite a few breweries that were not next to where we lived, and then we got Ubered, or we drove back to our place, and then we kind of just wandered around close to us. And then the next day we got bounced from the tournament. So then we were staying until Sunday. So we, drank.
Wow.
Saturday was fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was an all-day adventure. I mean, Portland rivals. I mean, it's always a toss-up whether Seattle or whether Washington or Oregon has more breweries. Per capita, downtown Portland has more than like say Seattle, but in the whole state, Washington State has more breweries. So,
And I'll tell you this right now, going on a brew tour, that kind of stuff, with somebody that knows a lot about beer, like Sean does, it's actually pretty fun to do that. Because, I mean, every guy that does brews or that kind of stuff can explain things. But when you're sitting drinking with somebody that knows a lot about it too, it's actually pretty cool. Sit and learn stuff. I've learned a ton of stuff just bouncing around drinking with Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially you see this beer up there as a style, and you're like, I've never heard of that, and being able to figure out what it is before you buy it and get stuck with something that's just gonna blow your lips off or something.
Now, the thing is, I kind of feel the same way when we do this podcast together, is that Sean gets so into it. And I remember we were talking the other night where you were saying, there's stuff that I haven't even heard yet. What were some of the things that you heard for the first time?
Well, what's funny is I've known Sean for so long, but some of the more in-depth stuff you guys get into when he's younger, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so about his life
and stuff, yeah. And I mean, a lot of stuff that Sean talks about beer, usually a lot of people haven't heard it before. So,
sure.
Now me or some other people that hang out with Sean a little bit more, we've heard a lot. But
I bitch about Budweiser all the time.
that is
Beer
true.
Rant.
Yeah.
Beer Rant number 12.
But I mean, there's so much that you can learn about beer that I don't think I would ever know enough that Sean couldn't say something I wouldn't know.
Beer is a lifetime of knowledge. I mean, I know a lot, but I'm never going to say that I know it all. There's I still learn something new every day about beer. It's a really deep subject. There's so many different styles, so many different countries that have done it, and they all do it differently. So it's an amazing thing. That's why it tastes so awesome.
It tastes so good.
What's pretty cool to me too is, you go out and have some beers, and I have my certain beers that I like. And I know you guys,
Right.
you do. Everybody has their
Right.
own beers they like. And just being able to talk about that kind of stuff, Sean knows what he likes, and he knows what other people like also. And he knows if you're telling him you like something just because you want to be like everybody else, right? And I've gotten to a point now I feel comfortable. I don't like it or I like it
Right.
because I know what I'm talking about, mostly because of everything we've been doing.
Sure. Now, when it comes to beers that you like, what Cole Street Brew beer is your favorite?
Man, that would be tough. I mean, I do like Sean's IPAs.
Yeah, to be fair, he bounces around.
I do.
It's kind of a joke because he's like, just turn around and pull it from the tap, and I'll tell you
okay.
what I'm
Yeah,
drinking.
I mean, there's beers. I mean, when we've had Sean's made a lot of beer, right? I've tried. I'm gonna guess 95% of the beers that Sean's made.
He's even tried my home brews originally. I'm like, this is kind of my idea. Nope, not a good idea.
and the majority of them are awesome, right? There have been a few that I look at them and go, not for me,
Right.
But other people like it,
Right.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a tough answer for me to actually pick out one.
I don't always have one on all the time. I rotate always through, so it's always something new. Even on the IPAs, I kind of rotate through the IPAs. Even on the Pub Light's not always on. I'll have like a blonde or a cream ale or something like that that's still really light beer, but it's not the same. It's moving around. So it's kind of hard to, I understand how it'd be hard to pinpoint exactly because you're not always going to get it.
And he's got seasonals on that he does, or shorter barrels, or I forget your term for it.
Summer short series.
Summer short series. That kind of stuff you look forward to because you want to try it because it's usually different.
It's something unique, yeah.
Now I'm not a sour guy. I'll be the first one to raise my hand on that. Is there anything that you don't like typically? Like if you were to go to any brewery, you're not drinking that.
Typically, I'm not a big porter guy. And sometimes it's because I like stouts, and sometimes there's a line there that you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Between them.
Iron Horse is what's it called? Their famous one is actually it's the in between. It's not really a porter. It's not really a stout. It's the in between. So I have had some porters that I like, but it's because they're more of a stout, right? I'm not huge into the smoky flavor. Now I like barbecue. I like that type of smoky flavor, but when I'm drinking, my palate, I don't really care for that smokiness to it. And most porters, not all, have to me, my palate, a smoky flavor to it. Yeah, that's right. We had that Rausch beer one time, and you did not like that at all. I didn't really like that one either. German Rausch is really smoky. It's like they throw so much peat in it. Ugh. It's really sweet and then really smoky on top of it. That's a rough one.
A little rough one.
Rough one. I can't take that one, no.
Yeah. I what about you, Keri? What's your you can yell at it. You can swing that over to her real quick. Keri's sitting here, wife of Craig. Keri, what's your beer of choice at Cole Street?
Right now.
Get closer.
Right now, I am into the strawberry blonde, as you guys are drinking.
Delicious.
But the sloshy form.
Oh,
if you guys have not tried the sloshy, it is amazing.
So this sloshy is kind of like what you would get like at a Vegas. You walk around with a little slosh.
No, this is craft beer.
Well, what I'm saying is it's like that same idea. So it's like a slushy beer.
I have a granita machine, and the machine takes whatever's in it and freezes it. So it actually takes the beer and freezes it. I don't add ice to it. It's actually frozen beer in there.
It's purely frozen beer.
Yeah, so You're not getting the watered down flavor. You're getting the full on flavor with that nice, cold, just amazing flavor. And right now, he has the strawberry and the margarita.
Yep.
And they're both amazing.
Wow.
I like the strawberry. But yeah, that's my choice right now. My choice of drink that when I go down there.
And right now it's perfect because you could sit outside with the tents.
Yep.
In kind of if you're kind of a little warm, get a little hot, get some sun a little bit, depending on where that sun's coming in at. Get your tan, drink your sloshy.
Yes.
Is that what it's called? Sloshy.
Yes.
Call it sloshy so we don't confuse. I am a 21 and up, and it is a 21 drink.
What's the beer that you don't like so much? No, it doesn't have to be Cole Street. Again, anything. Do you not like a sour? Do you not like a porter? Do you like a stout? What is it that you don't like?
Probably the same. I don't do porters and I don't do stouts. There's been some stouts I've been okay with. I don't like the porters, but I am a mix with IPAs. Some of the IPAs I just can't. They're too hoppy for me. But then some of the IPAs have that almost like fruity flavor, and I can totally do those ones. Which I think Sean has a couple.
She likes this IPA.
Sean knows my IPA choice that I would drink.
He knows. He knows
it's
your
more
palate.
of a juicy, hazy IPA. She likes those sweeter ones.
So when we're talking about the summer season, when he has different flavors, he'll come out with rhubarb or peach or whatever's coming up, and I literally tell Craig, "Let's go down there. I want to try these fruity beers because that's my jam."
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
I love it. You're like, you know what, Craig? You can either get in the car with me or pick me up later. I am going to get this right now.
They have a teenage daughter that can drive her around.
Oh, that's good too. That's a pro tip as well, probably. Yeah. Have a teenage daughter that can drive. So when it comes to now that Keri is involved here, there's a note here. and I don't know what this note means.
All right, so
Okay.
actually, if you follow me on Facebook, you would know because I just reposted this because we were just talking about when this happened, like what month it happened. But Keri's a big fan of this really awesome bicycle movie. Called
Rad. Yeah.
R-A-D. Yep.
Yeah.
The Crew. Yep. So she had said that it was coming to the chalet, and Craig, of course, made some comment that, and I was like, Keri, I will totally go to Rad with you. Will you be my date? And Keri's like, yeah, I need a date. So we set up this date. And I texted her the night before. I'm like, we're still on to go. And she's, oh yeah, totally. Well, then I'm at my brewery and I had a few drinks. So I needed somebody to drive me. And then lo and behold, Craig comes and picks me up. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Your husband's picking me up to bring me, because I had asked her, I'm like, well, do I need to be chivalrous and come pick you up and do like the whole date thing, or should I meet you at the theater? And then she said, well, no, I can drive. And I'm like, well, if you could pick me up, that'd be great, so I don't have to drive. And then Craig picks me up. So
he's your Uber?
I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, so we get to the movie theater, and then Craig's like, well, actually, we have a different date for you. And then...
Did the old switcheroo.
And then Keri's sister... Keri has a twin sister, Brenda. And I love Brenda. Brenda's awesome. But I was planning on going to the movie with Keri. And said,
less pressure.
I'm with the twin sister, and they thought they could just pawn it off that I wouldn't notice.
Right.
Hey, so she kind of invited herself, just like Craig did.
Oh.
And they didn't want to go together as a couple.
So they didn't want to double date with...
Then me and Sean's date plans got totally ruined because Craig didn't want to go on a date with my twin sister, even though his first date was with her back in high school before me.
Oh, wow.
So
he'll never live it down.
He will never.
I kind of feel like this is Jerry Springer might be coming out here pretty soon.
I dodged a bullet.
Brenda's very sweet.
So you're saying that you got the good twin? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
100%. That's sweet. That is sweet. She'll keep you around another 5 years.
I hope so.
She'll keep you around. Yeah, we're not even going down that route.
We're not gonna
That's
go
a
down
rabbit
that
hole. That's a rabbit hole for years. So I've kind of noticed a trend though. Now I've never heard this story. I did hear another story where you pawned, where another friend that we won't maybe say his name because he probably doesn't want to be out there in the world. Took her out on a date as well. Do you typically pawn your friends off on dating your wife so that you can kind of go do your own thing?
It depends on where I'm at and what the advantage is.
It depends on what you got going on.
No, she gets along with all my friends. It's awesome. I don't know. I kind of appreciate that. That on the second one that you're talking about, I wasn't even around. She just wanted to go have dinner. So I meant, geez.
He was out of town, so I went on a date.
Oh wait, okay. So it wasn't Craig.
Oh, that's right.
So this wasn't Craig saying.
I know what you're talking about now.
Saying hey, would you mind taking my wife out? Keri's like, hey, my husband's out of town.
No, I think it was the first one that you said.
Okay.
I think Craig's out of town.
No,
like,
it was. So this person knew that Craig was going to be out of town, and he asked me if I wanted to go on a date.
Wow.
I didn't ask him; he asked me.
Kind of like I asked her to Rad too.
And then Craig gets all jealous. Starts jumping in.
No,
hey,
he got upset when he got stuck with the other one.
Oh, wow.
But in all fairness, at the end of the night, we had a whole row. There was other people that came also.
Yeah.
You guys are a wild and crazy bunch, and we're going to learn more about you guys down the road. Okay? We're bringing you guys back. We want you guys back. We may even do our own little full body cast thing just to kind of catch up and talk. There is the final thing that I want to talk about. There's two things. There's two more things. But Cole Street, you talk about softball. Cole Street sponsored the softball team.
Yeah, the local softball team. I have a tournament team that I sponsored too.
And Craig played on it.
Yeah, well, Craig and I have played softball together since 05.
Yeah.
give or
06,
take.
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. So, no, we haven't always played on the same teams. like I talked before, like we got together, said, hey, let's start a softball team and just have some fun. And then obviously we're pretty competitive, if you couldn't tell. And we kind of, our team wasn't very good. So we all kind of joined other teams to kind of move up or play in different ways. And we kind of separated. That Portland story that we were talking about. So what happened is we all said, Worlds tends to be other states. It tends to be like Florida, Vegas, down in California. It's never very close. Mm-hmm. And it finally said that they were going to have states in Portland. And so we all said, hey, let's get the band back together. And so we put that original team back together. Now, we still had some weak links on that team, but we got it back together and we just played through that.
No names.
Yeah, no names, right? And then, so we went down to Portland to play Worlds together because, some of us have traveled, like I've traveled for Worlds, but some of us hadn't traveled or ever played in Worlds. So it was like a brand new experience. And we wanted to do it again with our friends because we're getting older and, it was a matter of, like last shot in the bucket. It's the last time the Worlds is going to be this close to us that we can just drive down. We don't have to fly, spend too much on hotels. We still got a hotel or we got a house, an Airbnb, but it wasn't as expensive as trying to go to California. Mm-hmm. But that's a really expensive trip that not everybody can do. So we got together. Yeah.
No, it's been, it's been 6 years, I think we've been called Cole Street Brewery. We've been playing. I've been sponsored by a ton of people.
You got Mazatlan on your shirt right now.
Local
shout out to Andy.
Shout out to Andy. We were also Andre's Bar and Grill.
Bar and Grill.
Oh, Andre's Bar and Grill back in the day, Bonnie Lake, right?
Yeah.
But no, I've been the ski in.
Yeah.
We were ski in for a while.
Really?
Yeah, you go in there. There's a plaque up there still from.
It's screwed to the wall. You can't get it down. Otherwise, it would have been stolen a long time ago.
and Sean's the Cole Street Brewery started a trend because in the Enumclaw League now there's multiple breweries.
Yeah, Half Lion was the second one to come in. That's great because I'm good friends with Adam, and so we always do a picture post together because we both still play. But then Lost Woods from Bonnie Lake got in there, and there was somebody else.
Well, there's always other bars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of bars in that league.
Sure. Well, it's exciting. Have you ever played against Kyle Pierce? Ever had Kyle Pierce on your team? I got to shout out him because he listened to that episode. He's like, I have made some amazing plays in front of Sean.
We've all played.
We've all played against and with Kyle Pierce.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is he better? Let me ask you this: is he a better teammate? Do you want him on your team or do you want to be against him? I guess that's the question.
I think he's a great teammate. And I mean, against, I'm a pitcher. So pitching against him, he's a very difficult out. So playing against him can be
quite difficult.
Yeah.
And my answer would be, I love him as a teammate, but it's awesome to talk trash when he is on the opposite team.
It is fun.
He's one of those guys that I'll yell across to another field if I see him.
That's great. Johnny White. Do you have you played? Do you know Johnny White too well?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Never had him on your team. Maybe a couple times.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Were you also the rumors are flying. I had a lot of direct messages, sliding DMs, sliding. Went to Cedars. People say, "Hey, ask Craig." They said that you were the ump that rolled the ball towards I think first or towards the pitcher when Sean was backing up.
Oh no!
And then Sean landed.
No,
on it,
not even close.
And you were trying.
He knows that individual. That no.
It was Corey. Maybe it was Corey.
No, I thought you were going to talk about. So Craig has some great antics. So
okay.
So Craig can be pretty fun to play with. So in softball, there's like ball fakes or ball juking, that sort of thing. So Craig will get up to bat, and every time somebody does like a fake pitch, Craig will do like a fake bat swing. Every time. Bat swing, bat swing, bat swing, bat swing, bat swing, bat swing. Because it's super annoying. Like, you're not going to really fake me out. This ball is only coming at me like super, super slow, and you're going to fake me out because you moved your hand a couple of times. So Craig would do it right back to him.
Really?
It's pretty fun.
I enjoy it because I want to see what people do.
Right.
We were in a tournament one time, and this guy, he does it all the time. I mean, he was one of those guys that did it, and I was like a full swing, and then he'd do it again. I'd full swing, so he tried to time when I was going to swing to fast pitch it, and then I hit a double off of him, and he walks out to second base and goes, "I've never seen anybody do that before." And that made my day. That was all I wanted.
Yeah, right?
You are a competitive guy.
I am pretty competitive, yes.
Who's
Pretty
the
competitive.
most competitive between you two?
I don't know.
Probably be me, obviously.
Yeah.
Unless Sean's louder right now.
Nah, that's fine. You can have it.
So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap
When
it
you're
up.
good, you know you're good. You don't have to.
You don't have
to
to
talk about
You
it.
don't have to have trash talk.
But kind of like
I
today.
got the quiet confidence.
Today I had no trash talk against
Dude,
him.
I was so mad. And that was the worst part is that you wouldn't talk back. And I wasn't trying to trash talk. I was like, dude, I can't believe it. I got a rant about this.
Did you fumble?
He did once right after a pick.
And yeah. Well, here's the thing. I fumbled. The largest, most overweight off or defensive lineman picked it up and ran it almost all the way back. It was absolute, and finally he gassed out. But here was my luck. I finally get a stop. He's catching things with one hand. I got 5 people around him jumping on top of him. He's catching with one hand, coming down. I finally batted a pass. I was like, thank goodness I batted a pass. Oh, guess what? I batted a pass right into Marquise Goodwin, who caught it on his team. It was like it was going to one player, batted it in another guy's hand, and almost scored a touchdown. Got down to the 10-yard line, and I was just like, "This is my night. This is stupid." I wanted to.
The internet should have failed.
I wanted to do what Young Con, and I'm changing his nickname. You guys have 18. That's
Young
fine.
Con.
You can do that. Young Con, Connor Young. I want to start ripping the cord out of my Xbox and having it just all. Oh, my internet cut out. Oh, whoops. Guess got to play another one from scratch.
Yeah, did you see that video I posted on that? I've never been able to restart a game because I honestly did not know how to do it. I texted our commissioner and said, "How do you restart a game?" I couldn't figure it out. I had to get on Reddit and figure it out.
Yeah.
So then my very last seasonal game,
Against nobody. Just
against a computer, I kicked it off. I made a video of the whole thing where I kicked it off, and then I just restarted it just so I could say, I restarted a damn game.
Yeah. Week 17, the last week, restarted it. We should have a Madden rant like a beer rant, and then goes right into my Madden rant.
Well, if you lose once a week, you can do that.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's easier to rant when you lose, right?
Yeah, it's stupid. Last thing that ended on guidelines for beer. This is the pro knowledge, pro tip, whatever you want to call it. What is guidelines? Why did I write that?
So last episode we talked about types of beer and how there's 2, possibly 3. Like the 2 types of beer are lager and ale. The third one would be like a wild. So everybody talks about sours. Sour is technically a wild. If you were to really investigate it and microscope it, that wild is related to one of those other 2. But it's acceptable to call it its own little area. But those types of beer create different beers, like a porter, an Indian Pale Ale, and that sort of thing. So those would be styles, and styles have guidelines. And the only reason why they have guidelines is so when you pick up a beer and it says IPA on it, you kind of have a pretty good idea what you're going to get. Guidelines are just that. They aren't rules. They're just like rough outline of what it should be. So when you go to brew that beer, you're open to interpretation. You can do whatever you would like to make that beer. You just have to stay somewhat similar to the other ones of that style. So that's where, guidelines are just make it easier. So when you look at a label, you look at a beer, you know what you're going to get. My only real rant about styles.
Here we go.
Is saisons. I've done a couple saisons. I do a rosemary orange saison. Saison is technically also called a farm style or farm ale. With that term, what they used to do in the olden days is on the farm, they take whatever they had and they just throw it in and then throw some yeast in it. So I did like a rosemary orange. So I had rosemary and I had orange, and I just threw it in there and threw some yeast in there. I throw some Belgium yeast, which is a pretty strong yeast. It's an ale yeast. My rant about saisons or farm styles is you have absolutely no idea what it is because it's an open style. It's got that name on it, but you can use any ingredients in it. With the IPA, you can use malt. You have to use 40 weight malt and Munich malt, and then hops. With a saison, there's absolutely no. It's a farm style. Like anything that's grown on a farm can get thrown in there. How many things are grown on a farm? So with that style, when you pick up that bottle, just because it says saison and the last saison you had you liked, you may or may not like this saison because it could be all the way in left field, all the way in right field. Versus IPAs, if you like an IPA, you're going to like this IPA. It's going to be pretty similar to the last IPA you had. So that's my pro tip.
Pro tip
is one, there's only 3 types of beer. There's over 1,000 different styles of beer, but each style it's set into somewhat of a parameter, but they're not going to be exactly the same. And that's where every brewery can kind of differ a little bit and put their own little twist on everything.
I like it. We're going to get into more crazy, weird, and exciting beer stories with Sean down the road. I want to know the weirdest ingredient you've ever used, but you can put that in your head. That's next time. Think about that. Weirdest ingredient.
Palm nut.
Okay. We'll know more about that next time. Great having Craig on. So what we're going to do, and Keri as well, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick, I'm talking like 1 minute each shout out. Okay, so we're going to go with Sean first. Sean, who are your shout outs this week?
Eric Marsh.
Of course.
Girlfriend.
Have to.
Don't have to.
Yeah,
Want to.
Ooh, yeah.
Chris Drewley for covering for me every time I come out. I appreciate that.
You brought your phone this time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, whatever. I wanted to shout out Amy Price. She owns Griffin & Wells. Absolutely love Griffin & Wells. I always plug them as much as possible. They're on the corner of Griffin and Wells in Enumclaw, Washington. She's a farm-to-table restaurant. She sources all of her products from local farmers. And then the best part about it is now she has like 5 things that are always on her menu if you love those 5 things. But then the other 7 or 8 things, they change daily. So every day you go in there, there's something new. I mean, I love my restaurants in town, but when I go in there, I already kind of know what I'm going to have because I'm going in there, thinking I'm going to have that. When I go into her place, I don't know what I'm going to have. I'm excited. Like I look at that menu, I'm like, oh yes, that sounds amazing. Oh, that sounds amazing too. I guess I have to get 2 entrees and take one home. So shout out Griffin & Wells.
Awesome. Griffin & Wells shout out. Craig, shout out. 1 minute, go.
Well, I got to shout out Keri right next to me or she'd probably hit me.
Yeah.
So shout out to her.
Shout out.
And then shout out to anybody that's listening. Comes down to Cole Street.
Yeah.
Has a beer with me. Takes a picture.
Yeah.
Sits and talks.
Yeah.
We did that last Friday.
Oh yeah, Craig did throw it out there on the discussion board that if the next person that came down and checked in for full buddy cast, he would buy a beer. And then nobody came down.
I know.
So.
Well, that's because everyone's busy. You got to go head to head. Anyways, what's that is a bummer. And who just sit with last Friday night or whatever? Who was it?
We sat with Holly.
Holly and her husband or her boyfriend.
Holly Graff and Tony.
Tony.
And real quick, it was a funny story because she came in and obviously we've never met,
right?
But I knew who she was.
Yeah.
Through everything else, and she was standing there and Sean introduced her. And then it was kind of like, oh, hey, how's it going? Type deal. And then we sat down and talked. And it was cool.
I also wanted to throw in, I think on your site, you can look to see who invited people to your site.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I invited her.
Oh, you did?
Just saying, I build communities.
You're an amazing person.
I'm a community brewery, so.
Yeah. You're an amazing person, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That's great. It's a great shout out for Holly. I got to shout her out too because she's a supporter. She's a Patreon supporter. Kellen Hall, Patreon supporter, and Eric Madrid, Patreon supporter for Full Buddy Cast. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Keri, do you have any quick shout outs at all?
The only shout out I have is to Sean. That's the only reason we're here today is because of Sean. And honestly, he has amazing beer. And this is his life's passion. So we're just glad that we're here and we can support him.
Wow.
Thank you guys.
You got it. Is it getting a little misty?
I got a little
is
tear.
it a little dusty in here?
Yeah.
I mean, is those? I mean, that was good, Keri. Very sweet. Thank you very
Keri.
much. Yeah, and we just want to shout out. What I'd like to shout out. I already shout out those guys. Shout out my wife because everyone else is shouting their wives out here, and I'm going to freaking be shut out if I don't shout out my wife. So shout out Jamie Kenny. Thank you very much. 5 years together on Facebook, and. And so that was today. Today's our actual anniversary for that. I also want to shout out. I don't know if this is going to be released in like when we record this. We obviously record ahead of time. News came down. Griffin and Wells, that kind of triggered it. Jackson's kind of triggered it. There's a waitress out there. She's a great person. She's a very sweet girl.
Oh, I love her too.
Courtney.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Wheeler.
I just
a lot of thoughts and prayers over
big
there.
time for her. Yeah. So it seems like she kind of posted yesterday saying, "Hey, thanks for all the thoughts, the prayers, and appreciate you guys." And anyway, just shout out to her. She's a great person in this community.
Yeah.
I think she's been away. She's
been around. Yeah. Her and I graduated together. So
yeah,
we're
that's right.
Schoolmates. Yeah.
Very sweet girl. So anyway, just appreciate her. And then I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us, guys. I always forget this part.
Go down to Cole Street.
Yeah.
And tag yourself in.
Yeah.
Full Buddy Cast and Cole Street Brewery, and you get $1 off VIP treatment and 10% off your growler fills.
Absolutely. And get that. He's already nailed it. And this is what I want you guys to remember. 1627. I want you to guys call up your Bank of America, your BCU, your White River Credit Union, and go change my PIN number to 1627 Cole Street. But leave the Cole Street out. But 1627. And then I want you to take that debit card, head on down to Cole Street, and then go grab a couple growlers, crowlers, or drinks, take yourself in, save some money. But yeah, 1627, get that burned into your brain.
Yep. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.